Hello everyone, it's Duckfairy07. Today we are playing Zoo Scam again. So, similar to how the Black-Red Scam adopted post-ban, same can be done, or similar can be done with the Zoo Scam variant. Okay, so plenty of cards we can play in this deck to replace the Fury, more threats, more interaction, more removal, whatever. So this is updated Zoo scam list I made, and the great news is that several people from the Discord already did a 5-0 with it. I have been doing really good myself too, and I had plenty of 4-1 leagues. Unfortunately didn't get a trophy yet, but the deck is performing very well, and the last league I played I was really close to the trophy, and I wanted to share that one on the YouTube. Okay, so what are the changes? Of course, we don't have a Fury here, so no need to keep the red card count very high. So we got Tarmogoyfs instead. Tarmogoyf has been very good. I'm interested in playing third or fourth copy, but kind of struggling to find a spot for it at the moment. We have to keep a black card count high, at least I think the number of cards, black cards I'm playing at the moment. Okay, Molten Collapse and Terminate fight for the same slot, and in this deck, and I opted for Molten Collapse at the moment, but both options are pretty decent. Okay, so on the sideboard, similar board as I had before the ban, adding 4 Stubborn Denials. I think this is a great card right now. So we got additional removal, we got planes for the Blood Moon, also Tears under there, Armored Ego to fight decks like Tron, combo decks, Cascade decks, and stuff like Creativity, or lot of stuff. Here's a lot of stuff. Hidetsugu, of course, is decent against the Rhinos, good against Shadow decks, great against Prowess, and it mostly shines against Hammer Time. Leyline of the Void as graveyard hate piece of the choice in this variant because of the Tarmogoyf, and because it's a black card, additional black card from the sideboard that you can pitch on Grief. And of course Stubborn Denials for a large variety of matchups. Okay, so that's it. So let's go to the gameplay and see some matches. Okay, so in the match 1 I was playing first, keeping okay hand. So what is the deal with Undying spells in the Zoo deck? Undying spells in the Zoo deck are mostly pretty good because we're playing. This is still an aggro deck. I do have like a turn 1 Grief Scam, of course, and bunch of interaction, but it plays a lot of creatures. So the 1 mana spells that give Undying to creature seem like pretty good, because there's just a lot of ways to use it. Also, you can use Territorial Kavu to discard some of them if needed. Okay, so here my opponent finds Delirium, which is another great example how Undying Evil or Undying cards can be very good. So playing against Murktide, I have Scion at the moment resolved. I have Leyline Binding, feeling pretty good. Also drawing Bowmaster is sweet here. So going for attacks, they will need Unholy Heat to stop my Scion or Murktide, whatever, but at the moment I have a solution for both of these. Okay, opponent goes for the heat. Of course I play the Undying Evil, but they have the Spell Pierce, so they successfully kill my Scion and cast a Murktide. So they had both of the best cards for them in this moment, but this is still fine. I have a Bowmaster, I'm attacking, and not dead after all in hand if opponent tries to kill the Bowmaster. Okay, so opponent kind of stabilized at the moment, but not dead after all was very good here, enabled me to kill a Ragavan and do more damage to the face. Opponent also played Preordain, so that was another damage, and they're forced to use removal on my Orc token, so my Orcish Bowmaster still lives and presenting lethal damage for the next turn. And yeah, somehow my opponent finds a solution for all of these. And yeah, so now I discarded their last card in hand, and so now it was a top deck battle, but top deck battle where my opponent is on 1 life, so basically like very favorable for me. Okay, so opponent finds good cards from the top. We have a Channeler and a Bubble from the top. I played Grief, Sea, Otawara in their hand, and yeah, Otawara was really good for them at the moment, being able to try to tempo me off. And yeah, another insane top deck for the opponent. Otawara means they can bounce the Grief, which is lethal here, and do lethal with their big Murktide. So yeah, pretty amazing top decks for the opponent, and somehow they get back and win this one. Okay, so post board, I boarded in the Leyline of the Voids, and Leyline of the Voids really did a great job. Really good job for the Leylines. Okay, so I trimmed on Thoughtseize. I completely cut all the Thoughtseize, trim on the Undying spells to put in some Blood Moon Hate, Leyline of the Voids, of course. And yeah, here my hand wasn't really good. But it was, I had the Leyline, and the Leyline really can slow them down considerably. And okay, so here my opponent was able to connect with Ragavan, pretty good for them. They have 2 channelers, luckily I have the Leyline of the Void, and they don't really have ways to get rid of it. And so here I was able to get my basic, which seemed very relevant, and discarded their iteration, which means they used one of the heats to kill my Grief. So hopefully next turn I can play the Scion of Draco as a blocker, and if they don't hit anything amazing with Ragavan, I can maybe stabilize. Okay, so I go for a Scion, holding not dead after all. So if they have a double removal for the Scion, I can save it. I know my opponent has Unholy Heat in their hand and the mystery card. They decide not to attack this turn. Leyline Binding from the top was pretty good, but still I'm not really able to attack unless I get another creature. Okay, so opponent goes for it, and before blocker's phase, I take the Ragavan and block the Channeler. This means they can't really if I like kill the Ragavan, they can try to Unholy Heat my Scion of Draco. This way I played the Undying spell before the bolt resolved, so this meant that they can't really, they have no ways of killing it. I know what was their last card was Unholy Heat in their hand, so that information was useful, and now I find myself with a Scion, big Scion of Draco on the field, and the Orc token with lifelink, doing a good tempo here. My opponent really needs something good from the top, but they don't get it and decide to concede. So that was game 2. Let's check out game 3. Again, I started with Leyline of the Void, and we saw in game 1 how really relevant it was. Okay, so my opponent is playing first here. I'm kind of low on lands, so I have to choose between getting a basic or getting the Sacred Foundry. Basic, yeah, obviously can be important if they have the Blood Moon. But so that's why I decided to not play anything, just keep the Tear Asunder and the Bowmaster for their turn. So I go for the Foundry and try to play the Orcish Bowmaster. Unfortunately, my opponent has a Stern Scolding and they're able to counter. So I felt like on my turn I don't have much chance except like play the Territorial Kavu, and they had Magus plus bolt my Kavu, and I had a similar thing like bolt the Magus and play the Kavu. Luckily my opponent had a Magus this game and not Blood Moon, so this way I was able to get my basic, pass the turn with not dead after all, and the Tear Asunder. Okay, I try to kill the Ragavan, but they have the counter spell, so they're able to connect, take my Scion from the top and pass the turn. Another Scion from the top is great. I go for Territorial Kavu ability this side to get rid of the Tear Asunder. I feel like it's more relevant at the moment to hold Not Dead After All than it is for the Tear Asunder. Not afraid of Blood Moon since I have a creature on the field and I had the Scion in hand, so it felt like better to just try to hold the Not Dead After All if they get the double removal or something like that to kill it. Okay, so I top deck the Terminate from the top to kill their blocker and deal lethal with Territorial Kavu, so that was match 1. Okay, let's check out the match 2. Okay, so match 2, playing first, keeping a decent hand, pretty good actually, like I have turn 2 Kavu, turn 3 Scion plus Not Dead After All. Also I can start cycling the extra lands. Opponent plays turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Goyf. I have no idea what were they playing, maybe it was the same deck as mine. Actually not, like they had Stubborn Denial, Expressive Iteration in main. Yeah, it's probably just a classic zoo list with Expressive Iteration and Goyf instead of some like cards like Bowmaster or I don't know, something similar. So yeah, I had too much stuff here like Grief Scam and Kavu and Scion. That was too much for the opponent and they concede. So I wasn't sure what, yeah, I know they're playing zoo, but not 100% sure on exact choice of cards, but I had a pretty good idea about it. And yeah, here opponent, here is my sideboard for this matchup. Basically what I wanted is just to trim one Undying spell and all the discard spells for extra removals. Tear Asunders are good. They can clear Binding, they can clear Scion of Draco, plenty of targets, for 4 mana in the worst case. For 4 mana they can exile anything. Okay, I expected my opponent to counter the Bowmaster here, that's why I shocked in the Foundry, so I can play the Binding. So still attacking for 4 with Scion. I have the Terminate for the blocker or whatever. And now I also have the Not Dead After All. So pretty good position for me. I have a protection spell for for Scion, and they have to try to find the answers for it. They play the Bowmaster, don't find the solution, and concede. Okay, so that was match 2. Quick matches against color zoo, and let's check out match 3. Sorry. Okay, so good hand, but a one-lander, and that's why I decided to go for the mulligan. I ended up mulliganing on 5 and decided to keep a turn 1 Grief Scam with a one-lander and possible Goyf follow-up. Okay, so here I saw my opponent's hand with Rising Reef, Cosmic Rebirth, and Prismatic Ending. So I could have left, maybe the better play was take the Ending and Rebirth and leave them with Reef. This would mean like I'm attacking for 4 with Goyf on the field, and they're resolving the Reef on turn 3 here instead of Ending. This means more damage, and I would get the Bolt to kill the Reef, so it would probably, it would be better play here, but probably still not good enough, since my opponent also had the One Ring and the Omnat to start gaining a bunch of life here. Yeah, so they were able to get gain 4 on their turn, gain 3 more on my turn. I was definitely in need of a top deck, didn't get it, and I just wasn't able to keep up with Omnat life gain, so I conceded soon. That was the game. Okay, so let's check out game 2. Okay, let's check out the sideboarding plan for this matchup. So lightning bolts are mostly like pretty useless in this matchup, so I cut those. I decide to put in the 2-2 split between Stubborn Denial and the Thoughtseize. So keep 2 Thoughtseize in, get 2 Stubborn Denials. Terminate feels more relevant than Collapse, cause it can kill Omnat. So I switch 1 Terminate in the main, and yeah, that's basically it. The most important changes. And of course, Tear Asunder gets the One Ring, the Binding, so it's pretty good here. Opponent has the Rising Reef. Rising Reef is not a big problem for this deck since I play the Bowmasters. Okay, so I was able to attack with the Kavus here, get the damage through, play the Bowmaster, kill one of their Reefs, and my opponent has the One Ring to survive for a turn, but that is not enough. Again, I go for the attacks with Kavu, of course, to just get the card draw, the card selection from the Kavu ability. Opponent goes Solitude, exile the Bowmaster so they can draw more cards with One Ring. But I have another Bowmaster in my hand, which I can play in response to the One Ring ability, and the opponent has a solution for it, and they also had another ring at this turn, so yeah, a bunch of good cards for them. But I draw Tear Asunder from the top and Leyline Binding here to kill Rising Reef before they draw Solitude or whatever. So yeah, they had another Reef, that was not enough, and they concede. Okay, so let's check out game 3. Okay, so here I had the Grief and I was playing second and top decked Undying spell to start with the turn 1 Grief scam, and yeah, unfortunately for me, opponent has a Stern Scolding, very strong, powerful counter in this situation. Still, my hand was above average in this game, and I was able to start off with turn 2 turn 2 Kavu, then start drawing cards. My opponent didn't have a third land, so I wanted to kill this halfling. They find their land, and I was able to get the Bowmaster on the field in response to Teferi. This way, if they bounce my Kavu, I kill their Teferi, grow my Orc army, so kind of a good situation for me either way. Attacking with the Bowmaster, unfortunately opponent stabilizes again with the one ring, at least for a turn, as I was able to take their ring and top deck another Bowmaster, do more card selection with the Kavu. So this is like really close to lethal. They play another ring. I should have played this Bowmaster in response to the one ring, but accidentally skipped through the phase. And opponent plays the ring, draws one card, but yeah, that's not enough. So I decide just to draw this card with Kavu again, not play anything, play around them having like Supreme Verdict or something like that, and they don't find a solution for a double Bowmaster, so that is another win. And yeah, okay, so let's check out match 4. And we'll watch the wins first and then defeat in the end. Okay, so 3 lands with some creatures and removal, that's like pretty keepable. I was playing against a guy that plays this, that like made the mono black rec popular again, playing a lot of it. Okay, so opponent goes for Thoughtseize. I decide to play the Bowmasters in response. So they take my binding, and they have another discard to take my undying spell. So yeah, my hand is pretty bad right now. I decide to finish my domain and just go for a Sacred Triome. Don't have anything else. Okay, but opponent has Saga, making a construct. So I play the Thoughtseize, take a Sheltered from their hand, leaving them with Pitting Needle and Wrench Mind, and Territorial Kavu was able to like block their creatures if necessary. Okay, so here I go for the attacks with Kavu, play the Scion of Draco, and the opponent decides to go for the attack with both of their creatures, which is like I'm not sure what they had. I mean, I know what they had, the Wrench Mind, because I saw their hand. I think they had another Urborg and a mystery card. So yeah, that wasn't good enough, and yeah, this was a easy lethal attack. So let's check out the game 2. Okay, so yeah, kind of awkward hand, especially when playing against Bowmaster, double Ragavan here. That's why I decided not to play Ragavan on turn 1, but to hold it when I have the Not Dead After All to protect it. I also wanted to get Foundry plus Zagoth. This way I can play Ragavan plus Not Dead After All in the same turn. And I also, when I draw the Scion of Draco, wanted to get the Scion as soon as possible. Opponent plays Lily and kills my Scion, unfortunately, but I was able to finish Lily with Ragavan. Opponent has Grief. I top deck Goyf. From the top side, decide to play Goyf plus Ragavan here. Yeah, unfortunately, opponent has removal for the Goyf. Goyf was really huge there, so I had a bunch of undying spells, draw the Grief for a turn. So I play all of my undying spells, scam the Grief in, let my Ragavan survive. So opponent is attacking with Grief, equipped with Shadow Spear, and putting me on 7 life here. I decided to kill it. Of course, they trade with my Ragavan, and we are now both in a top deck mode. Opponent has a Shadow Spear on Doughty, which is a turn 2 turn clock, and thanks to the Sheldred from my opponent's deck, I was able to get this one, survive for another turn while attacking for a lot of damage there. Okay, so I hold the Bowmasters on their turn, and they go for Turak. So I let the Turak enter the battlefield, and in response to their ability, play the Bowmaster, kill Turak, and yeah. So thanks to the Sheldred, I was able to survive here on 1 life, then go on 3. And play the Molten Collapse, which was their last chance of winning. So that was the game. Okay, so pretty quick 2 games against Mono Black Scam. So let's check out the last match I lost. I played against Respect the Cat's Keruga list. I think he said it was his trophy game, so he won the trophy in this one. And yeah, it was unlucky for me to get paired against him. This is probably among worst matchups for a deck like this. Any zoo deck actually. I was able to win that last one against a 4-color Omnat pile, but I think that matchup is a bit easier now than the Keruga maybe. Opponent had a binding for my Kavu. Yeah, I need some really strong plays to be able to try to survive this one. Okay, opponent goes for Teferi. In response, I take the binding, and they bounce the Goyf obviously because they're planning on solituding my Kavu. But yeah, Goyf is great here too because it can grow really fast with Thoughtseize in my hand, and since I'm probably killing this Teferi too. So here opponent goes for I go for the Thoughtseize, take the One Ring, play the Bowmaster to kill Teferi. My opponent has the Fire Ice in their hand to clear my Bowmasters, unfortunately, but I really had to take the One Ring. Maybe it was better to just let them resolve the ring and hope that the Bowmaster plus the ring kills them. And yeah, this way I was able to play the Bowmaster, kill the Fairy, but they had like a clear solution for it, so they went fire my Bowmaster, which was... I was still pretty well positioned here, playing... I know my opponent doesn't have anything, yeah, they're just like Rainforest in their hand and Heat, another land here. So I had Tarmogoyf and another Bowmaster, pretty good for me. Opponent has Solitude, unfortunately, to get rid of my Tarmogoyf. And now the Forest, yeah, not a good draw for me. And opponent just had a bunch of very good draws. Omnat, Solitude from the top, then Omnat into another draw a card. And I really needed strong draws to get out of this one. Try to get back in game. First, what I need is to kill the Omnat. And yeah, but a land and not dead after all was not like good enough. So yeah, this was basically a game over for me. Opponent has Omnat, and they still have access to Keruga, plus the Leyline Binding. Yeah, this means the Keruga can draw them a bunch of cards, and they're able to play it immediately, get free mana from Omnat, play Keruga, draw 3, and that is game over. Kind of close, but they had like really good draws when in the crucial time, like that Solitude and then Omnat, of course. Okay, so I thought I'm in a better position there, but this is like the deck that really has some strong top decks, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I had Grief here, I had a Black Spell and another Grief, and what I really needed in this one was just a couple of Undying spells. Unfortunately didn't get it. So I go for another Bowmaster. And opponent attacks with a Goblin Shaman, and I play the Binding in response to take my Kavu and block the Shaman. Again, opponent has a Fire Ice to kill both of my Bowmaster. That's really strong play for the opponent's deck. Okay, so here I get my 4th land, everything is working perfectly. I decide to go Kavu, draw, discard first, then see my opponent's hand, which was like just really strong, and if I didn't discard that black card, I would be able to play the Grief and then pitch cast another Grief, so I would be able to get both rings out of their hand and leave the Omnat. That would maybe get me the game, but this way, yeah, 2 Kiki-Jikis flipped. That's definitely large problem if they like have a single Solitude or something like that. Yeah, they play another ring. So they buy more time to do something. I find a Tear Asunder, which was great, but yeah, I was in a big problem right now because I had to kill the ring and also had to kill the Kiki-Jiki. So yeah, they also just had a Solitude, so even if I killed the Kiki-Jiki, they would still be able to Solitude and copy it with another Kiki-Jiki, so no way out of this one. And they were able to stabilize and win in the right time, so that was it. Okay, but really strong deck and really good player playing it, and they had some good draws from the top, so that's it. But I'm really happy how this deck is performing so far. This deck has a bunch of strong plays. Sometimes you have a Grief scam, sometimes you play a regular Zoo deck, and I believe that Zoo archetype is well positioned right now, maybe better than it was for a long time, since the creativity time. Yeah, the Zoo was really strong then, and I think it's really good at the moment, and I think this build is doing really good for me. As I said already, other people saw my list and trophied with it, I think multiple times already, so I think it is good, playable, competitive. Of course, all of the scam archetypes lost a bit of power with the Fury gone, but it's still, I think, a viable strategy, doing good, and has it feels like pretty powerful. Don't really have a lot of bad matchups. Kiruga is probably among worst one, but I don't believe that that's super hard or unwinnable, especially without when they don't have the Fury themselves. So that's it. Okay, so I hope you liked the video. I'm glad that Zoo scam is back again. Feels very playable, feels competitive, and definitely can do a serious work. And yeah, my flex slots for this list are these Molten Collapses. I think these could be easily Terminates, depending what do you want between these two options. Molten Collapse is probably a bit better against Amulet Titan. scales, but I mean Terminate is also great against because Amulet, because it's instant speed and you don't really want sorcery speed to kill Titan, but it kills the Amulet. So I think like both are fine. Molten Collapse is definitely a bit better against Scales and Hammer, so it kind of depends if these two how much are these two played. And that's it. So hope you liked the video. Just a friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, tell me how you feel about Zoo Scam post ban. I feel like it's definitely playable. Other scam strategies are still playable without a grief, and I think this one is too. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.